So tonight we're going to talk about the rejection rocket. And this is, if you guys have questions and stuff, interrupt, okay? I don't want it just to be me blabbing. But this is something that comes up fairly often, especially right after you get started, because sometimes you're deadly in the beginning because you're just, we call it ignorance on fire. And then all of a sudden we start to get a little more information about research and all of that. And sometimes we start to hesitate because we're like, okay, I'm not sure what to say or whatever. And maybe sometimes in the very beginning, we have friends and family and people like that that may not say yes, that you thought, oh, for sure they'll say yes, because it just made so much sense to you. So we're going to go through this a little bit, and I'd love to kind of hear some of your guys' stories as well. I know for me, I definitely had the rejection rocket hit me really hard at about 60 days into the business. And really had to make a decision as to whether this was for me or not. And I remember my sponsor, who's not in the business anymore, supported me in feeling wishy-washy, let's say, instead of saying, oh, no, it's no big deal. Like, she didn't reassure me because we kind of started at the same time. And we almost talked each other right out of the business. And I'm so glad that I overcame it, because and actually I started thinking it kind of made me mad that she supported my whining, because I kind of went and whined at her because I wanted her to kick me in the butt. So as you guys are bringing people in, make sure that you're kind of the backbone for some of your people. And here's the other thing. We've got people that have gone before us. So this isn't, this is for everybody if you just put your head around it and go out and share with people and be willing to love on them. Other people have gone before you. We have usually over 20, 25 new national marketing directors every 6 months at conference. So people are going up the business and they've learned how to really handle rejection and reframe it, okay? So we want to make rejection your ally instead of your enemy. Okay, so network marketing, it's one of the most fun and rewarding businesses in the world because, gosh, we get to do what we want, when we want, where we want, with who we want. So there's really no reason to worry about it, right? And eventually, every network marketer is faced with some kind of a challenge. And these are universal challenges. Usually you'll find out that your worry or your problem or your friend that rejected you, everybody else has gone through that as well, okay? And then no matter how long we participate in multi-level marketing or Juice Plus, okay, no matter how successful we become, there's always the possibility that we're gonna get shot down temporarily by the most prevalent and dangerous weapon of all, the rejection rocket. And just so you know, just when you think you're over it and you've gone through it, it can happen again. Even for me, a national marketing director, I have times where I have the rejection rocket hit me and I just think, oh my gosh, okay? So I recently had somebody who I just thought was amazing. They said all the right things, got them started, and sure as heck, all of a sudden they had every single reason why the product wasn't good, why the business wasn't good, and they hadn't really ever even gotten started. So for me, that was a rejection rocket because I was like, gosh, I don't know what I could have said better. Maybe it just wasn't right timing for that person, okay? And it can strike anytime, okay? Anytime in the business, and it will destroy your enthusiasm and excitement if you let it, okay? So where does rejection come from? Well, usually it's from the people that we love the most, okay? Usually it's your spouse. Did anybody have a skeptical spouse in the very beginning besides me?
I did.
Yeah? Was that really hard? I mean, for me, that was really hard.
Yeah, for me, it was really hard too because I care so much about what he thinks.
Yeah.
I just remember even like for the first year, I couldn't have a Juice Plus conversation with him in the room. Like I had to go outside and talk on my phone outside, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And it felt really, really scary, right? Like,
Totally.
Almost embarrassing. I know Richard doesn't remember this, and he's so supportive now, which I so appreciate. But I used to have a wellness presentation, and I was great about getting, 10 to 20 people in the room. And he would come in, and I'd say, come in and share, why you love your Juice Plus, because he was taking it great and loving his Juice Plus. And then he would say something at the end and say, oh, and I know Reagan, she's really passionate, kind of annoyingly, and it killed me. And I was almost afraid to even talk to anybody about it when he was around. So I totally get that now. Anybody have any family maybe your parents that wouldn't take Juice Plus when you first started or still don't?
Yes, none of my family.
Yeah, it's hard, huh? Like you want them to be the healthiest as your friends and your
Yeah.
family, your parents, right? My mom, it took me 3 years to get my mom on Juice Plus. And the only reason that she got it, she kept getting pneumonia. And finally, the third year, I said to her, I've had it, get your checkbook out. And she said, what? I said, go get your credit card. You're ordering Juice Plus. We are sick and tired of you being sick and tired, and you will order it. And she was so sick, she said, okay. She's never had pneumonia again. And kind of the really funny story is she had her toe stepped on by a horse like 10 or 15 years before, and she had this funky toenail that never would grow in quite right, and it was split down the middle. And I don't know why, but after she got on Juice Plus, her toenail grew in perfect. And so to celebrate, I took her for her first ever pedicure. And in the nail salon, she was, oh my gosh, if you people aren't on Juice Plus, you guys are just a bunch of idiots. I'm like, okay, Mom, please. So she went from being completely, don't say anything with a J. Like if I'd say, I was going to say, would you like some orange juice? You're not going to talk about Juice Plus, are you? I mean, she was literally this guy right here to now she panics if her Juice Plus is a day late in the mail. So, and then how about your best friends? Anybody have any of your best friends that don't take Juice Plus?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it still bothers me. One got on, then she got off. She doesn't want to do it anymore. It gave her gas.
Yeah.
Like, really? You got everything else in the world going wrong with you and you're worried about a little gas for a while?
Yeah. Maybe you're close enough you could probably tell her that. But
yeah.
It's hard when your friends say no. And I still have some of my very best friends that just will not get on Juice Plus. In fact, my very, very best friend, she wouldn't, her husband even went through cancer and ended up passing away. And I did my best. And I just thought, you know what? I'm here. She knows I'm here. I had to get over it. Right. And unfortunately, some will, some won't. And you've just got to do the best you can. And, you know, it's not like I'm not going to be friends with her. So get over it. You'll have friends that will. And it's funny because usually as soon as one of them gets something they're worried about, you'll be the first person that they call. So, or you hope that they will be. And then business associates, anybody poo-poo you about what you're doing on this, you know, your little side business or anything like that?
Right. And I think one of the hardest things is that people often do look at it as that little thing you're doing. You know, how's that going for you? It's like going great. But they don't perceive it as anything because for a lot of reasons, I think. But,
yeah, and you know, you can either let that fuel you or have it disappoint you. And I remember when I first started, I was so worried about talking about Juice Plus because I didn't want to be, you know, we'd all hang out at the pool, right? We'd go down there in the summer with our kids. And I thought, oh my gosh, they're going to say, oh my, here comes the Juice Plus lady. Everybody run. I didn't want that. So I was really careful about how I talked about Juice Plus. And in the beginning, some of them would go, yeah, how's your thing going? And I would just say, you know, it is just awesome. And one of the things you guys can say to people that kind of do that too is you can say, you know what? I am right on track. You know, our national marketing directors average a 6-figure income, and I am right on track to get there, and things are just going great. I love what I'm doing. So if you're positive about it, you got to remember that people are looking to see how you feel about what you say more than what you say. So you've got to get yourself really in a good place to say, you know what? I'm in the right place. You know, whoever is going to be the right person for me to talk to is going to show up in my life. I'm going to keep my ears open, and I'll find the people that I can help. And you just got to move past all of these other people. And as long as you keep going, what will happen is a year from now, I call these the wait and seer crowd. Okay. The wait and seers will in a year from now say, are you still doing that? And you can go, oh my gosh, yeah, it's awesome. And then they'll say, oh, well, maybe I do want some information about that. Or maybe I do want to do that. I don't really like my job either. So I think if you just hang in there and not worry about what people think about you, and go find the ones that are excited about what you have to say, you'll be a lot better off. Okay, so rejection causes people to fail more than any other single factor in our business. And most people fail before they even get going because they fail from their head and not their heart. And what I mean by that is that they spend so much time thinking about what other people are thinking about them that they never even pick up the phone. They never invite somebody to an event. They never send a text. And, they feel like they've been working, but really all they've been doing is thinking about it and not even thinking something positive. So if you're going to make up a story, you might as well make up a good one, right? Like people are going to be interested. And then also, be thinking from your heart that what I came to as I finally thought, you know what, I made a list of all my friends that I really, really loved. And I said, look, you know what? I'd love to take you for coffee. And I'd love to share with you what I'm doing because I really want the people I care about. I want it off of my chest that I gave you a chance to get this for yourself and your family. And I want you to hear about why I'm so passionate about it. And if it's for you, great. If not, no hard feelings, but at least it'll be off my plate and I'll know that, you have the opportunity to make your own decision. And every single person said yes. And that is how I qualified my business. And that's how I got a lot of my distributors. They got me the national marketing director because I was so authentic with them. And not everybody said yes. And that was okay with me. I mean, I was just kind of divorced from the fact that, gosh, some are going to be interested, some aren't. Not everybody wants to be a car salesman either. Not everybody wants to be a corporate executive. Not everybody wants to stay home with their kids. So different strokes for different folks. But I did want them to hear about the product and give them the opportunity to know that this was a really viable option that they could come on along and have some fun with me as well. Okay, so having a good approach and knowing that you are sharing information versus selling is key. And I think that is the other thing is that when we first get started, we tend to go and juice plus everybody, right? Instead of asking some good questions like, if I could, would you? And if you didn't get a chance to hear or let's get the conversation started, go back to YouTube and listen to those because that really helps you not to ever really get any rejection when you have a good approach, okay? And then just like I said, don't have an attachment to the outcome because, some will, some won't. Some will never, okay? So what? There's a lot of people that are waiting for you to kind of come into their life. And, I look at people even on this call that are like some of my dearest friends now that I didn't even know them before. I met Missy at a Panera Bread while I was talking to somebody else about Juice Plus and she was eavesdropping. And now, I love it. Missy and Jim come to our house and stay and we're good friends. And, so you just never know. So know that the circle of influence that's telling you no, you're going to change your circle of influence every day anyway. Here's the other thing. If somebody's telling you no, it could be that it's just not the right time for them, okay? It doesn't mean that they're rejecting you. You might just wait and bring it up again in 6 months. Doesn't matter if they were pretty aggressive about how they told you or not. Bring it back up. You never know. Things change for people. And if they see that you're still committed, then, they'll probably consider it again. Okay. And I love the saying, don't ever wrestle with a pig. You'll both get dirty, but the pig will enjoy it. So there's really no reason to drag people around and try to convince them. Okay. The goal is is not to overcome all of their objections. Okay. You don't need to keep going. If they've said no a few times and you kind of feel like they're totally resisting, just move on, okay? Your goal is really to talk to people that are interested and the ones that you can assist in becoming healthier and wealthier, and you can only help people that want to be helped. And I hate to say this, I heard this, and I think it was Jennifer Myers that actually said this originally, but she said, there's a reason why some people are sick. Because they like it. They get a lot of attention for it. Sometimes, just you never know. And we hate to see people in those places. There's sometimes where there's a reason people are broke and always needing money and always needing another job. Those may not be your best candidates sometimes because, if they lose that situation, then they don't have all the attention that they get for that. So, I would go out and find people that you want to recruit up, for the product and the business, and not try to save people, okay? Okay, winning the battle. Feel, felt, found works great, okay? And, I understand how you feel. I once felt that way too, but actually what we found as our family that whatever, okay? So know what you know. Confidence is key. If you are confident about what you're sharing. And again, what is there not to be confident about? Juice Plus is the most medically researched nutritional product in the whole world. We've got over 30 published studies by the top independent research facilities around the world. So it is what it is. We know what happens in people's bodies if they take Juice Plus. So it's just that some people don't understand, or maybe they had a bad experience in the past. So your goal is just to stay neutral and don't get upset, okay? I'm going to show you guys a fun little video I found on Phil Felt Found, and I apologize, there are a couple of curse words in there. So just, say beep in your head when they say that, but I thought it was kind of cute.
Yes.
There's a cheeseball technique from marketing called compassionate selling. Totally gross, I know. Known by the shorthand of feel, felt, found. Meaning, when someone objects to what you're trying to sell them, you say, I understand why you feel that way. Others felt that way too, but they ultimately found that they were happy to buy this crap I'm trying to sell you. So, you might feel that this is a bunch of manipulative garbage. Hey, I felt that way too when I first heard it, but then I found it's actually a good way to learn how to communicate with empathy. Here's how that works. If you're in a conversation with someone who's angry, upset, sad, whatever, you can say to them, using your own words, of course, so you don't sound like a patronizing ass, I understand why you feel that way. I have felt that way too. And depending on if they need to be held or fed, and go here for that video, you can end with, I found when I felt like this helped me, blah, blah, blah. If only we put as much effort into learning to communicate as we did into trying to sell people shit. So, if you feel that you've liked this video, let me know how you felt in the comments below, and let me know you found my channel. And of course, subscribe. Bye.
She did a really good job. Did she convince you that Feel Felt Found was pretty good to use? Yes? Okay. All right. So here's another way of thinking about rejection. Just think of it as protection and redirection. Sometimes, you guys, people are not worth having on your team if they're always going to treat you that way, okay? Sometimes if you're always having to convince your friend to stay on Juice Plus or get on Juice Plus, it might be easier to go talk to somebody else, okay? And then the other thing is that use it as a challenge. If somebody kind of poo-poos you, Shawn Myers always says, if they poo-poo you, you poo-poo them, right? Which it's kind of true. I mean, it totally motivated me to be able to go, you know what, well, watch me. I'm going to go find lots of people that I can help, and I'm going to make a lot of money at this. So you might use it as a motivator versus a demotivator when it happens, okay? It kind of challenges you, like, yeah, well, watch this, okay? That's how, other reason I got to National Marketing Director was because I told Shawn Myers with my big mouth that, yeah, I could do this. And he says, yeah, well, we'll see. So I used it as a motivator, and I thought, gosh, we will see, buddy. And off I went. So there you go. You can do that with rejection as well. All right, so failure. Let's talk about that. The first cause of failure occurs when new network marketers listen to people who don't know what they're talking about, i.e., people that are not in the business, their spouse who poo-poos them when they get home. You'll never make any money at that. You guys have heard it all. It's one of those things. I don't ever really get that one anymore, by the way, but some people probably do. So you want to talk to people that do know. You want to listen to people that do know what they're talking about. And sometimes what happens is people will go home, they'll get a little rejection from their mom or their friend or their husband, and then they start listening to them instead of listening to us that say, you know what, we'll coach you around how to do that. So, when you're first getting started, it's really good that you have a good approach, okay? And here's the thing, it's just human nature that we get excited about something that we want to share. And that's great. But again, we want to get a good approach on how to talk to our friends so we don't shoot ourselves in the foot before we get going. And so we've got some texting scripts. If you go into teamhealthybodiesusa.com and go into the tools, there's a coaching and training folder, and there's a verbiage folder there. There's all kinds of stuff in there on inviting, whether it's by voice or by text or whatever. And you can kind of pick what's best for you. You can also get the GoPro book, which has all of that in there as well. And, just get a good approach. And then also, like I said, we've got on YouTube, let's get the conversation started. We have that for a reason. So we want to make it easy, and we want to really take that risk of getting any rejection down to almost nothing. Okay. So there's two mindsets that you choose from. You can strive to be well received by those you approach by setting yourself up for a friendly callback, or you can try to avoid the pain of rejection by saying nothing, doing nothing, and being nothing. Have any of you guys ever fallen into camp number 2 here because somebody told you no?
Sure.
Yeah. So better for you just to set yourself up and go, well, it wasn't a good time for them, right? I'm going to go talk to somebody else, versus totally stalling your business out because one person doesn't get fruits and vegetables. Now, isn't that silly? Right? So the other thing is you want to get involved first versus asking for advice. So that what I mean by that is sometimes people say, well, let me ask around and find out if some of my friends would even be interested in this. Well, one is whoever has said that doesn't really know anything about our product or our business. And then they're going to go to these friends who are going to try to save them from themselves, right? Because they're going to get into one of those things, right? And so they're going to listen to the wrong person, right? And it's better to say, you know what, get your facts in order, know what it is, know what a great business this is, what a great product it is, and get involved first, and then let's coach them on how to go and talk to their friends and family, okay? Because once those people have already kind of ridiculed you, they're not going to get in the business, right? Because they can't admit now that they were wrong. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying? So be careful, especially when you guys are starting up your new team members, that you kind of talk about their list and go through that before you just send them out the door to go talk to people, okay? Many folks are more interested in impression management than in taking responsibility for their own lives and creating financial independence and time freedom. So some people, what that means is some people will stay in their job that they absolutely hate, that they have no time with their family or their children, just to have a status or a title when they could be out creating financial freedom like you are. And it's just the way it is. So let them have their impression management. And when you all of a sudden are making a lot more money and having a lot more fun, all of a sudden their level of respect will turn and they'll be asking you a little bit more about what you're doing. And I had that happen with my friends for sure. And now they refer people to me, which is kind of funny. They went from kind of being, oh, I don't know about that, to, oh yeah, you should talk to Reagan. So, the longer you stay in it, the more credibility you'll have for yourself. Okay. So think positive. You can only change their attitude by changing your own. And so make sure that, your own worst enemy isn't you thinking all those thoughts in between your own 2 ears. You want to get those positive thoughts and be thinking about what can I do next that's positive every single day. And then just do it. The fear of getting started is the greatest fear. That's why a lot of people never, ever really pick up the phone and get started. Or they have their one friend tell them no, and then they don't talk to anybody else. Or they have that one presentation that we all have that nobody ordered at, or not as many ordered at as we thought, and we quit. I mean, it's kind of a silly thing, And then don't hide behind needing more information. In other words, don't become a training junkie. Become a sharing junkie instead. It's fruits and vegetables. Everybody needs them. Nobody's eating enough. And then you want to use the buddy system, whether that's an upline, a sideline, go to meetings, use 3-way calls, your Facebook events, all of those things to where you can have more than one person talk to your prospects. Okay. So if you've got somebody that you want to have join your team, set up a 3-way call with your upline and say, look, I'd love for you to meet them, build them up, and have them share with your friend, because your friend may not see you as the Juice Plus guru yet. They're going to see you as who you are. And so, but they will listen to somebody else. So getting a buddy is really, really key. Okay. So in traditional businesses, things just happen, but in network marketing, success really comes to people that go out and make things happen. And so you can't just sit around and hope something's going to happen. You actually have to be an entrepreneur here. And call reluctance happens to the best of us. the best way to get over that is make your list and just go, you know what? Today I'm going to call this many people. I'm going to call 5 people on this list. I'm not stopping till I do. Doesn't matter what they say. Just get started. The first call is really hard, and after that, it's a breeze. Okay? And then once you're trained, begin immediately by picking up the phone and calling the people on your list. Just don't hesitate, because the longer you hesitate, the more those silly little, that little devil that lives on the left shoulder is going to be whispering in your ear. You want to listen to the angel that's on your right ear telling you all the good things, okay? Here's another rejection rocket: not being taken seriously. This is the most degrading form of rejection. And again, you want to use your third party to talk to those people that are closest to you, so you don't have to worry about that, okay? So it's teamwork that earns leaders the right to receive multi-level compensation. Think about that. So, if you're building a team, you want to get down into your team and help your team members, because that's what you get paid for, okay? And then the next rejection rocket could be yourself. Is it you? Is it what you're putting out there, okay? If you suspect that it's your attitude or the way you're feeling about things, it's time for you to get some personal growth. So you might need to listen to something. You might need to have a coaching call. You might need to go to a seminar, whatever it is. Download Tony Robbins. That'll help you, right? To enhance your own self-image. And then you are who you hang out with, you guys. I'm telling you, surround yourself with positive people. You'll become a positive person. If you're hanging out with people that are in constant drama and strife, never have any money, you're going to be just like them. So, really start to get intentional about your peer group and get picky about who you're spending your time with. And then find a mentor. It doesn't always necessarily have to be your upline. It could be a sideline buddy. It could even be somebody in your downline that you're working together, or it could be a coach. I know for me, when I decided, this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to get to national marketing director, I hired a coach and I talked to her once a week, all the way to national marketing director. And I gave her permission to mentor me and kick my butt, and also to support me. And that was so worth the money for me to be able to do that. So if that's kind of where you are and you're kind of feeling like you need to get a coach, I have some ideas you can get with me, and I could also help you with that. Okay, not talking to enough people is another rocket, okay? If you only talk to a dozen people in the course of a week, you're going to be focused on the ones that are saying no, okay? It's going to be bigger than life. If you are talking to more than that, if you're talking to a lot of people, then you're going to be focused on the people that want to get involved, okay? So remember this law of balance: increase the number of approaches and decrease the impact of rejection. I know when I only had a few customers, if one of them canceled, it was like the end of the world to me. But now that I have so many customers, I go, oh, that's so sad for them. So it totally reframes kind of how your attitude is. So you want to be talking to enough people, because you talking to 10 people, you're going to have people that are interested, and you're not going to worry about the ones that aren't right now. Okay, here's another rocket, is building too slowly. Okay, it's discouraging. And when you build slowly, again, you're going to be easily focused on what people aren't doing versus what they are doing. So really be focused on what people, be grateful and thankful for the people that are doing something, and realize that not everybody is going to grow this business at the pace you'd like to grow it at. You're looking for the ones that want to do that, okay? But the other ones have their place. They're part of your team. And when you start to get momentum, you can see that I put that little ball there for that visual. Think about that. When we pull that ball back and it clacks the other balls, all of a sudden they start swinging too. And that's what happens when you're building your team. So get some momentum going for yourself, and then your team will get some momentum going as well. Okay, so when getting started, 80% of your time should be spent prospecting, not sitting and reading all the research, okay? It's fruits and vegetables, you guys. We know that everybody needs them, okay? Everything else is busy work. You don't get paid for busy work, okay? You only get paid when you are eyeball to eyeball, voice to voice, ear to ear, belly button to belly button with somebody, okay? So you could use Zoom to do that. You can do Facebook. You could do live events, which are my favorite, okay? So, and then the other thing is, you don't want to become a professional audience participator. You want to get out of the bleachers, get onto the field, and start just going for it, because The only way you win is if you stay in the game. You got to get in the game first and then stay in the game. Okay, and it's a numbers business. Okay, prospecting small numbers makes rejection bigger than life, just like we said. Large numbers helps you focus on yes. And whether you like it or not, it takes a certain number of people on your team and a certain number of prospects that become customers, a certain number of customers that get you to a qualified business and get you to national marketing director or wherever it is you want to go with the business model. Whether you want to make $500 a month, is a certain number there. And so one thing you want to think of is when you guys are building your team, I love this little chart, because if you sponsored 2 people who sponsored 2, you'd have 4 who sponsored 2, 8. You can see all the way down to 16. If you have 5 people on your front line, and that's what that momentum you're doing is creating, where they're duplicating 5, you can see just 5 generations, just a few generations down, only 3 generations down. There's 625 people on your team, and you're getting an override on all of that. So be smart about the way that you work as well. Don't get focused on this one person that's not doing everything they said they were going to do. Love them for what they are doing. Be grateful for that, and find some other people to work with, because the law of averages will start to bounce your way. And then by all means duplicate, okay? And having a 90-day game plan, this is a great time of year, you guys, for us to set up a 90-day game plan and really go for it. We're coming into the best time of the year, the beginning of the year. And actually, just so you guys know, people don't really want to wait until the beginning of the year to get healthy. So if you're thinking that you're not going to start talking to people about their health goals until January, you will have missed it, okay? Most people will already have their plan figured out. They'll already know what they're going to be doing. So right now, these first 2 weeks in December are critical. And for our team, the ones that do this tend to have, that can be their biggest month. So we really want to get out there and be promoting our shred. People can be getting on the products now, getting them ordered, start cleaning out their pantry, get through Christmas, and then really hit it hard with our shred in January. And, also with, as far as you guys bringing people onto your team, we're at a great time of year to do a 90-day game plan. Who would you like to have on your team, and whose living room, how many people can we affect their circle of influence, right? So now is a great time to get that 90-day game plan. That's really key. Okay, the other rocket is a narrow focus syndrome, okay? If you are only focused on one of our products, okay, you are missing the boat, because our products are meant to appeal to everyone. And so if you have people that you're only talking to them about Juice Plus, but you didn't tell them about the Tower Garden, you didn't give them a chance to get one, okay? Or if you're only talking to people about the Tower Garden, what a sad thing, because they could be getting a Tower Garden in a capsule every day, even when their Tower Garden is in the middle of growing or when they're not using it. So you want to be telling everybody about all of our products. And even if you talk to them about the capsules, make sure they know that they can get bars and complete too, because they're going to probably do shakes and bars anyway. They might as well get them from you or from themselves. Okay, so when you guys are retailing, offer your customers an opportunity to redirect their spending. Okay, most people are spending money on vitamins already. Over 80% of Americans take some sort of vitamin, and they could redirect their spending on fruits and vegetables in a capsule instead. Or how about that Starbucks that we don't even think about spending almost $5, most of us every day, and that's, on Children's Health Study, that's almost a week's worth of Juice Plus for them and a child, right? So again, educate your customers about all the products, and also don't forget to share that they can share it with their friends too. Like, why wouldn't we be bold about that? Who do they want to be healthy? They want their friends to be healthy too. So you want to let everybody know. I tell every single customer, look, I want you to know that this is available, and it's kind of a no-brainer, because I know you're going to end up loving the product and sharing it with your friends too. So you might as well benefit from it. If I could show you how we do that, would you have 5 minutes for me to kind of go through that? Yes. So most of the people I sign up typically are going to become a team member. And typically those team members will share with at least 1 or 2 other people, if not come along on the journey because they love Juice Plus just like we do. Okay. So turning rejection into a positive. Let rejection become your driving force versus your tearing down force. Okay. Like I said, there's been so many other people that have already walked this path. We've got shy people. We've got people that are working on their health goals still too. We've got superstars. We've got executive business people. We've got stay-at-home moms. We've got people that clean houses. I mean, you name it. We've got every walk of life that has become successful in Juice Plus. So all they have to do is get on the path and get to sharing, okay? And like I said, sometimes once we're on that path and we've decided we're staying on that path and we're going to stay in the game, the people that initially reject us will want to come on along too. So it really does take persistence coupled with absolute belief. If you guys do that, you can never, ever be defeated unless you quit. So don't quit. Just do it. So I don't know if that was helpful for any of you. Love to have any questions or comments.
I guess my only thing is I feel like lately I've had a lot more like positive response, you know, and, you know, in fact, I had one gal tell me that it was interesting. The whole conversation started and she's a patient of mine. And when we started talking, she said, so what do you want from me? And I said, I don't want anything from you. You know, and we kind of talked a little bit. And when she left, she said, I can tell you when I came, I've had other people approach me and figure I can sell things because I'm a salesperson. And I said, well, that really isn't why I came to talk to you. Like that was never in my mind in terms of you being a salesperson. And that's why I wanted you. But anyways, long story. So she goes, I'm very interested. She goes, I can't believe it because that's not how I expected to leave this meeting.
Yeah.
I really like this. But then, and she's not the only one. I feel like I'm getting more interest, more positive feedback, and then it just sort of drops off and I lose them. We set up time to talk or what, and it's just like, it's gone. And I'm like, okay, that's so weird. Like that was positive feedback. Like, you know, I really, really thank you. I'm shockingly surprised at how interested I am in this. And then just nothing.
Are you making it easy for them? Because sometimes I think, and I don't know, I mean, it could be sometimes what we do is we walk people down the aisle and then we never put the ring on their finger. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like we set up another appointment instead of saying, well, did you want to get started? I mean, it's like a no-brainer, like duh.
Right.
You know, like if you make it an easy decision for them versus having to have another meeting and more information, people typically will say yes.
Yeah, and I guess the people I'm talking to are saying like, I'd like to take another look at it. Like this gal's in pharmaceuticals. She just wanted to just take another look at it. This other gal who I really think I talked about at the beginning, she really wanted to take a look at some of the research, and that's probably just because she's more on the medical field too. Like I get that.
Yeah.
Because I'm paying from that place too, but I just, you know, the people I'm talking to seem to want a little more time to look at stuff, to actually look at some of these.
I would say,
I don't know. I mean, there's probably no way to fix that. It's just what it is.
I would probably ask them another question of, you know, what is it that you're looking for in the research? What's important to you when looking at the research? Because I probably am going to handle that right there. I'm not going to send them out the door with a packet of research. Like, I want to know what is about the research that they would be concerned about, or what would they be looking to know? Maybe I could just help you with that. Again, I'm going to make it easy for them versus them having a full homework assignment.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know, and if it's a stall on their part, I'm probably going to address it right then and say, you know, I feel your hesitancy. You know, tell me what your concerns are. Okay. I'm not afraid to say that because I'm here to help them.
Right.
You know, because I can tell you if I said to somebody, yeah, I need to look at the research, and they gave me the research, I would never look at it.
Yeah. And I didn't hand them any research. You know what I mean? Like
right.
Totally.
But, you know, what is it they want to look at? So, yeah. And sometimes if that happens, it just happens. But if you're getting it a lot, I would say that there's something in your approach that needs to be tweaked a little bit. Mm-hmm. And it's just really, you know, making it easy. And I think, you know, I keep using Mel as an example because I think you guys have all seen in the last year the change in Mel's attitude. Have you guys not, the ones that have been around here?
Yes.
What'd she do? She started making that like, well, this is like a no-brainer. It's easy, duh. And everybody gets on board with her.
Yeah, and really that verbiage of like, are you ready? You know, what else? Do you have any other questions? Are you ready to get started? That for me, for whether it's talking about the business or the product, any of that, made it so much easier for me that I knew where to go. But people can follow if you're going somewhere and they know what to do next. All right, great. I'll just need, you know,
Yeah.
it was just a little thing in verbiage. It made the whole thing so much easier. It like took the pressure off of me, took the pressure off of them. They knew what to do and they could tell me, yeah or no, but it was almost really like they just needed me to say, place your order.
Yeah, come on.
You know, or
Get started.
join
Where-
my team.
where that's it, right?
Yeah. For me, that was a game changer. And it took me a few times to do it, but now I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't not do it at all. I mean, so easy. Because I know people are going to sign up, and they do because they can feel my confidence as well.
Yeah.
Of like assuming that they are. Yep,
Why wouldn't they?
exactly.
You know, like, why wouldn't they? So it's, again, you know, what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on, because we all have this internal dialogue too. Like when we start thinking about, is it me? Am I my own rejection rocket? Are you thinking about, oh, they probably won't come to the event, or they probably won't order, or they're probably going to want more information? I mean, are you saying that in your head? I'm not talking to you, Jen, I'm talking to everybody. Or are you saying, oh, of course they're going to order. Why wouldn't they? Gosh, this would be so great for their family. You know, are you focusing on the positive, or are you focusing on the negative?
Yeah. I mean,
Hey,
oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that to go along with that from my own experience is that we have talked often about setting up for the next connection with them. And so I think sometimes we get on that path that we think, okay, so this leads to the next time, to the next time, to the next time. And then we do what Jen was saying is they say, oh, I think I need some time to think about it. Instead of stopping it right there, like you,
What is it you need to think about?
we think, oh, I'm supposed to, that's okay, because I can let them go to the next step and I'll connect with them again. And then they disappear because they've heard it all now.
Yeah. Well, and so let's say when would that be appropriate to set the next one? Let's say, you know what, I'm so sorry, but I am so interested, but I absolutely make no decisions without my husband's approval, which usually is not really true, but I want to talk to I have to talk to my husband. Great. Let's chat tomorrow. We're whatever. When we have time to talk to your husband tomorrow, you know, we can chat tomorrow. Okay. So we're setting the appointment up for that's a continuation. It's a little bit different, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I might even ask a question like, well, and if your husband, you know, is also in favor of this, is there any other things that you're worried about as far as the product of the business or whatever, that we should be talking about before you go home? So I want to kind of find out, I want to kind of scoop around there and say, what else is it? Right?
Right.
Because most people, not all, but most people, especially most women, you guys, most women are in charge of the family's nutrition, right? They go to the grocery store and they don't ask their husband if they can buy grapes, right? So
Right.
Usually that's a little bit of an excuse and they're just trying to buy a little bit more time. So you want to take the pressure off of them and set that next appointment if that's absolute, or you want to try to address it right there and say, is there anything else, you know, that you would have a question about or be worried about before you go home to talk to your husband? So there is some times to continue that. But Jen, I would say for you, you're probably just not asking, are you ready to get started? Like, duh, come join us. You know, if any of you guys have done a 3-way call with me, I always get to a place on our first 3-way call where I go, are you going to join our team? Right? And they go, I think I am. Okay, awesome. Welcome to our team. Right? So you just need to ask. It's not that hard. Because where do I want to get the objection? I probably want to get it after I've asked that question anyway, right? I want to find out what's coming up for them versus assuming, oh, they're probably interested in this, and you can make yourself crazy, right?
Yep.
And we make most of that stuff up. Usually we're not even thinking that.
Yeah.
I had one gal, you guys, that I think it was probably 2 years into me being a rep. She finally said to me, I've been just continuations. She's come to every event, and she finally said to me, why have you never asked me to join your team? I said, I don't know. I guess I thought you might not. She goes, well, I was just waiting for you to ask me. I go, okay, will you join my team? She goes, of course I would. I would have a year ago if you would have asked me. I'm like, okay. So just ask. What's the worst that could happen? They're not going to shoot you. They might say, not right now, or I have more questions. That's really it. So.
Okay, speaking of that, we even talked to a chiropractor that we were working with, and he said to us, Jim asked him if anyone had ever showed him the research and if he'd like to look at it. And he said, yeah. And then Jim commented and he said, what's the worst that can happen to you? Yeah, I'm either interested or not. So that was, kind of, yeah, duh.
Yeah, and I would probably get him let me give you the summary because I'm sure you don't want to read the whole synopsis, or do you, right? And give him a link to the research, or just give him a little, here's what we know happens in the body, right? So, all right, so anybody have any other questions? Any comments? Was that helpful for any of you to just go, you know what? Rejection doesn't have to be hard.
I just like knowing it's not just me. We all go through it.
Yeah, and just when you think you're over it, you'll go through it. There'll be somebody else that throws you a curveball. And that's when you really need to step back and reframe your thinking and go, okay.
The only question I have, I've been doing events recently because now is the season to do, there's all these little things popping up. How do people, it's been so long since I've done them. How do people handle them? Like, do you give shake samples while you're there? I've been doing gummy samples, stuff like that, but how do you handle those?
Are you talking like at a booth, Kelly?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely do. We've always done the gummies, but if they're really interested in the complete, I probably would give them a sample with an order. Right? I typically don't make shakes there. I mean, you could have a shaker bottle. It's really good. I got this one from Lindsay Hale, little sweetheart. They're doing a bunch of gym stuff, like they're going to Red Rocks and doing workouts and then talking about Juice Plus for 10 minutes. And she's just getting a shaker bottle and coconut water and the chocolate. Tastes like a Wendy's Frosty, and I didn't believe her, but it really does. It's really good. So you could totally do a little sample of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then I would offer everybody a free, and I do this for every event and every customer. I always give everybody a starter set if they want to get started of 5 to 7 Juice Plus capsules and start them on half a dose. And then I always give all of my new customers a shake and a bar samples as well.
Okay. Well, I always do. If somebody signs up, I always give them 5 days of the half.
Yeah. And then one thing we did with Carol's party, which was kind of fun, is I said, why don't you go get those little tiny, gift bags that would hold maybe the size of the complete shake, right? Mm-hmm. And do really pretty gift bags with tissue paper and put in, a bar and a shake and your starter sets. And say, we're going to have you guys, anybody that wants the gift of health, you get to go home and get started today. Here's your gift of health. Because everybody loves to get a present. And so
idea.
It was kind of fun, just something to kind of pretty it up a little bit.
Okay. Where do you get those? The little bags?
Go to Michael's or whatever.
Anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
I have another one Saturday, so.
Yeah, I would do that at a booth too and just say, here's what, you're going to come home with that, right?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys. Well, anybody else need any help with anything else?
One other thing, Kelly, is I, at my party, which I know you're not doing that, but I gave a sample of the vanilla shake, but then I had pre-made the energy balls with the chocolate just so that people could taste the chocolate also. That might be something you could do at a booth.
That's a good idea too.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right. Hey, I know some people jumped off because we're getting late, but next week is the peak call. And I think it's Hans Finzel. I think it's going to be a VF presentation.